Welcome to Pod 4 Journal Club. Today, we're diving into a fascinating paper that could completely change how AI understands us. What if AI could do more than just follow the crowd? What if it could actually understand why we all see the world so differently?
Okay, let's just jump right in with a question. Take a quick look at this comment on the screen. What do you think? Is it offensive? Now, I'm willing to bet that if we could poll everyone watching, we'd get a whole bunch of different answers. Your take probably has a lot to do with, your political views, maybe your age, where you come from. There is no single right answer here, and that's exactly the point.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the problem this paper is trying to solve. For a long, long time, we've basically taught AI to just follow the majority. It's like democracy, but for data. If, say, 60% of people think a comment is fine, the AI learns, okay, it's fine. But what about the other 40%? Their perspective just kind of vanishes. So yeah, the old way treats any disagreement like static on the radio. It's just noise that needs to be filtered out so you can hear the main signal. But this new approach, the one in this paper, says, hold on, that's not noise, that's music. It wants the AI to learn the entire orchestra of human opinion, all the different instruments, not just the loudest one.
And the researchers themselves just say it perfectly. Disagreement isn't a bug. It's a feature. It's not some mistake in the data. It is the data. It's this incredibly rich signal that tells us about who people are, all based on our unique identities and our lived experiences.
And just ignoring this signal isn't just a missed opportunity. It's actually pretty dangerous. Because when you do that, you end up building AI that just creates an echo chamber for the majority. It amplifies the loudest voices and completely silences everyone else. And you can see how this leads to seriously biased AI in really important places, like content moderation, or even tools that decide who gets a job interview.
Okay, so that's the problem. The big question then becomes, what's the solution? How do we get an AI to stop chasing that one single correct answer and instead learn to embrace the wonderful, messy, complicated reality of all our different human perspectives? Well, the authors set out on a quest with 4 key questions. First, if we give an AI some basic info about people's demographics, can it actually get better at predicting how different groups might react? Second, can we teach an AI to know when a topic is going to be controversial, to basically spot a disagreement before it happens? Third, what are the biggest factors driving these disagreements? And finally, the big one. Is this all just random chaos, or is there a predictable pattern to how and why we disagree? All right, let's get into the good stuff. Their solution is a new model they call DiADEM. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful. It stands for Disagreement and Demographic-Aware Distribution Modeling. But don't worry about the name. The important part is what it does. It pays attention to who is speaking, and it tries to understand all the opinions, not just the most popular one. So how does it actually work? It's a pretty clever 3-step process. First, it looks at the demographics of the people providing the labels, things like their age, race, and gender. Then, and this is the really smart part, it figures out for itself which of those factors are most important for the specific topic at hand. And finally, it uses all of that insight to predict the whole rainbow of likely opinions, not just one single color. The real magic here, this secret sauce, is this idea called demographic importance weights. The best way to think about it is like a set of volume dials. For each topic, the AI listens to the data and decides, for this one, age seems to be a really big deal. Let's turn that dial way up. Then, for another topic, it might think, okay, gender doesn't seem as predictive here, so let's turn that dial down. It learns how to mix the sound all on its own. So that's the theory, and it sounds great on paper. But the real question is, does it actually work in practice? Let's take a look at the results. And the results are pretty striking. This table shows DiADEM going head-to-head with other models, including an average of large language models like GPT-4. Now, don't get lost in all the numbers. The only one you really need to focus on is that last column, JSD. Just think of it as a gets it score. The lower the number, the better the AI gets the full range of human opinion. And look at DiADEM. That score is so much lower. It's not just a little better, it's in a totally different league. But wait, it gets even cooler. The researchers tested it again on a completely different data set, this time about conversational safety. And this number here, R equals 0.75, that's a correlation score. What it means, in plain English, is that DiADEM is really good at predicting how much people are going to disagree about something.
A score that high shows a super strong connection. The AI is basically developing an intuition for controversy. And this graph just makes it so clear. The blue line is the real, messy disagreement that happened among actual humans. The orange line, that's what the AI predicted would happen. I mean, just look at how closely they track each other. It's incredible. It's like the AI is learning the very rhythm of human debate. So remember those volume dials we talked about? This table shows us which ones the AI decided to crank up the most. And what's really fascinating is that across two totally different contexts, one about political offense, the other about conversational safety, the same two factors consistently popped up as the most important drivers of disagreement: race and age. That's a huge finding. Okay, so this is way more than just a cool academic experiment. Building AI that actually understands the structure of our disagreements, well, it could have massive implications for the real world. This could change everything.
What we're looking at here is really a blueprint for building fairer, more empathetic AI. Imagine a content moderation system that doesn't just delete a comment, but could maybe flag it and explain, hey, just so you know, this is likely to be seen as offensive by this particular group. Or think about a news recommender that actively tries to show you well-reasoned perspectives you might disagree with. That would be a game changer for breaking out of our filter bubbles.
Now, we gotta be real. This isn't a perfect solution, and the researchers are super upfront about the limitations. First, the whole system depends on having good demographic data. And maybe most importantly, these demographic labels are just labels. They're proxies. They can't possibly capture the beautiful, complex, unique combination of experiences that makes you, you. So there's definitely still a long way to go. And that leaves us with this final massive thought. We're on the verge of creating AI that can start to understand the why behind our disagreements, not just the what. That is an incredibly powerful tool. So the real question for all of us becomes, now that AI can begin to grasp the roots of why we see things differently, where should we direct this powerful new capability? What should we teach it next?